it's impossible and counterproductive to draw a line between empirical and intuitive. Hawaiians were terribly empirical, with a culture that created hundreds of varieties of different plants by careful cultivation and gave specific names to each one of those to identify the different traits. Hundreds of words for the world around them, specific words for clouds, for kinds of rains, particular empirical kind of observation. But the language itself also shows an intuitive, a less formal or less specific level, in that words are always granted multiple meanings. And the intentional use of those multiple meanings in poetry and in oratory, in daily speech even, allows multiple levels of interpretation of the same set of words. The multiple meanings of words sometimes are altered by their position in a sentence, in a phrase, in the way that they're laid out. But even in the same position, they can be interpreted a number of ways. So this is used in oratory to convey multiple messages at the same time, to allow a flexibility to the language, and oftentimes to be very indirect with something that could be a powerful statement, could be insulting, could be humorous, could be couched in terms that allow both of those at the same time. Perhaps a good example are the honorific chants that carry the historical and the physical connotations of the words that are used. Ai kamaile koule yahi, in honor of Kupi'olani, talks about the historical practice of tossing firebrands off of a cliff, sort of an ancient form of fireworks at a grand display, but that whole coastline becomes a garland for the queen, and that historical practice becomes a wonder that she presents. Maybe a good example would be Hole Waimea Kaihea Kamakani, which actually describes the lands of Waimea on the island of Hawaii, and how the wind shreds strips the forest, strips the leaves of the forest. It's really an historical reference to how Kamehameha, in manning his armies, kept drawing the young men from that district. So not only the forest is stripped by the wind to make the spears, that make the trees look like spears, that population is stripped of its young men to make spears the weapons of battle.